Upstairs, Amelia listened to the soft crackle of the fireplace as she sat back in Javier's leather chair and looked down at the sheet of paper where she had anxiously scribbled down all her ideas for the custody arrangement she planned to propose to Javier. Waiting for Javier to get home so they could talk, she felt nervous. She hoped he'd be open to compromising on how to share Max's time between them. But knowing how domineering the prince could be, she worried he'd use his power and position to monopolize Max the way her father had done when her mother divorced him. She couldn't lose Max the way she'd lost her mother. Amelia decided she needed a glass of wine to soothe her nerves for the discussion ahead, and padded down the hallway to get one. Meanwhile, at the foot of the stairs, Javier slipped his new tie and birthday card into his back pocket as he slowly made his way up the stairs to Amelia. He felt on the words she'd written to him, and his pulse raced at the thought of her waiting for him in his study. When he entered the study, he looked around and wondered where she'd gone. But he didn't have to wonder for long. She soon appeared in the doorway, angelic in her soft white cardigan and slip dress, and a warmth spread through his chest. This place had felt so empty without her here, and her mere presence filled it with light. Amelia's breath hitched at the sight of him, so dashing against the bookshelf with his hands resting in his pockets, and his hair ruffled from the long day. "When did you get here?" Javier broke the silence first. "Not long ago," Amelia replied, her voice steady. "The driver told me Max wouldn't eat, so I came to check on him." "He's in bed. I waited because I wanted to see you." His smoldering gaze was disarming as he stepped forward to take his glass. "I know. I read your note." Taken aback, she quickly glanced over at the desk where she'd left the paper where she'd written her talking points. He read through it, and he was still in a seemingly calm, good mood. This surprised her, but she took it as a good sign. Perhaps this discussion would go easier than she thought. "You read it then?" "Mm-hmm." Javier nodded, his eyes darkening. She held her breath when he reached out and ran his hand down her arms. "Nervous?" She gave him a timid smile. I wasn't sure how you'd take it." He stepped closer. "I'd say you have my attention." She grew flustered. Suddenly, she felt him wrap a cool piece of fabric around her eyes, and her vision went dark. But Javier." She felt the warmth of his breath brush past her ear and heard the hush of his husky baritone. "I like my gift very much." Her heart thudded when she realized he had blindfolded her with the tie she'd given him. Her mind raced. She thought she was initiating a tense discussion about co-parenting. Wait, Javier, can we talk?" "You want to talk?" He continued to caress her as she rambled, struggling to get her thought out. I... are you okay with what I outlined then? For custody, there's a new strategy lots of divorced parents use called bird's nest custody, where the kid stays in one house and the parents alternate staying at the child's residence. It can provide more consistency that way, and by now, all of Javier's blood had rushed away from his brain, and he was completely lost here. "Bird's nest, what? Amelia, what are you talking about?" Amelia turned to face Javier and slid the tie off her eyes. "The custody plan for Max." Amelia grabbed the paper off the desk and showed it to him. He blinked his eyes in an attempt to sober up as he read the document she handed him. "What is this?" "Split custody, half the nights a week, alternate holidays?" He looked up at Amelia, confused. "This says if I leave the country, Max will spend summers with me? What the is this? I thought you read it over. It's my idea for how to split custody of Max. Taken aback, Javier pinched the bridge of his nose in displeasure. Is this necessary to discuss right now? Now that we're at separate residences, we need to nail down a living schedule to give Max some stability. Javier bristled at the thought of giving permanence to their separation. The solution to all of this is for you to move back in. The current arrangement isn't working. It's already putting a strain on Max. What if he refuses to eat again tomorrow? Amelia tried to hold her ground. Then you can let him come to my place for dinner. Javier shook his head, his tone firm. No. The boy needs to learn to eat what is offered, or he'll become spoiled. He can't change homes anytime he doesn't like the dinner menu. You are making this whole situation more complicated than it needs to be. Amelia's eyes widened in disbelief. You were the one who told me to leave, and now you're blaming me for following your orders. This man truly had a talent for twisting the narrative. Javier shook his head, incredulous. Since when are you so obedient? The one time I tell you to leave is the first time you actually go and listen to me. This is your house, and you're the prince of an entire nation. Of course I'm going to leave if you tell me to go. His tall frame leaned closer. And if I want you to stay, will you be obedient then? His words were both maddening and tempting. If not for her remaining rational and the harsh truth that Thomas had just shared with her, she might have agreed to return, but the vivid memory of that glaring red engagement invitation was burned into her mind. Taking a deep breath to steady herself, she tried to remain calm. With your upcoming marriage, we might as well settle this arrangement now. It doesn't make sense for me to give up my apartment when you and Paloma will likely move back to Spain for your marriage. Javier's jaw tightened. I don't want to talk about that. I'm here with you, not her. He took her hand and searched her eyes, his voice low. Can you just be with me right now? One night where we cast aside all the other... Don't we at least deserve that? To find out what happens next, download the Pocket FM app in the next minute to get free access to all episodes of The Royal Accident for free.